Okay, well, now I'm back. I try to set myself up. I had to prop up my cell phone, camera, on a candlestick holder. I think this is pretty good. So I have the lemon, the little mini canvas. Everything's kind of condensed in a small spot. I wouldn't normally try to paint this way. I usually like to have things spread out, but just so you could see everything, I kind of have it all kind of condensed in there. Anyway, okay, so I filled my palette up with all the yellows that I had. I'm using all my old paint. You know, I haven't taken, and some of the paint is so old, it's like separating. I didn't shake it up. I put a little blue and purple in there because I'm going to practice making dark yellow using either blue or purple. Because it's on the opposite side of the color wheel, you know, these color wheels are very confusing to use. I don't know if you could see it. This one is one that you can move around. It's very advanced. I don't have these in school. But if you see the color that you want to make as you're scrolling around, the inner color is right there. Okay, so if you see the color, say I wanted to make a greenish yellow. Let's see, what would be, oh, well, maybe here. Maybe there. Blue-green. I'm going to just try one more. Well, this is a grayish, actually. And the way, you know, I had to scroll around a bit to see. So I like this little bit of grayish, but I do like this green. It's like an olive green. And here, where it surprises me, it says yellow and adding a little black. Because of all my schooling and through education, they've always said to not add black to your colors. I don't even have black on my palette. Maybe I'll try it. We'll see. But it must be a tiny bit of black. Teeny weeny. So here is this grayish color where my thumb is. And that was orange and adding a little bit of blue. I don't even have orange on my palette either. I didn't consider that. Here's a dark green, good for the leaf. Here we have yellow orange, adding some blue. So where this is coming from, if you look at this color wheel, if I wanted to make this this dark green here, these two are the opposite on the color wheel, orange and blue. So I'm going to look at the color wheel. This is what we might have in the classroom. A little, not in such order, but we do have the colors lined up. Oh, I wish I had a simpler one. You see, at home I have all these complicated ones. So we're saying to make this grayish, I'm sorry, the dark green, I would add yellow, orange, and blue. So here we have that yellow, orange, or orange. They're calling it yellow, orange. Oh, it's because it's in between orange and yellow. There's yellow, orange. I'm going to go right all the way down. So it's in between this blue and this violet blue. So that is how you make that darker green. We have the colors right across from each other. So instead of blue and yellow, they made a little bit more of an orangey and a purple. Let's just experiment, okay? And we'll see what happens. So I wet my brushes as a habit, but I'm gonna also blot them on the paper towel so they're not totally wet. I think I'm just gonna start with filling this up with yellow. Okay, just to start, okay? Let's see which yellow is closest to this lemon. It's in between this one and this one. So the reason, now this is the kind of paint that we don't normally have in the classroom either. So, but you know, I'm experimenting with old things that I have in the house. So this is old paint, and I squirted it out till it was empty. So I'm just going to grab, my brush is just a little bit wet, okay? Not dripping wet. You always have to blot it. So I'm adding just the two colors to see, not blobbing the paint on. And if you notice, when I put paint on my brush, it's just on the tip of the brush, never filled up. Okay. My brush strokes are curved. It helps to make the lemon look round. I do feel compelled to put a little bit of green in there, just a tiny bit. Ah, it's a lot of green. I could always go back. Notice the curve and the brush strokes. All right, well, I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit before I add highlights and shadows. It's a good start. I like it. Let's get the green stem and the leaves. Different shades of green. We have a light green under here, a dark green on top. You know, you could recognize it or not recognize it, but I have a habit of recognizing it. Okay. I like to tell the whole story. Okay, so to make that dark green, it did say that adding that little bit of black. I'm going to try red, actually. I didn't take red out. I gotta go find my red. I'm using little craft paints. Nothing professional. These, I got it, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. So I added that tiny bit of red on my dish palette. Okay, I'm going to add this tiny bit of red with a tiny bit of green, because my goal right now is to make a dark green. So here's regular green, a little dip of red, a little too dark, right? It's more of a dark red. So I'm going to add more green, but I'm not going to add it on here. I'm moving over because my brush already had the color on it. Oh, there you go. I think that's a nice dark green. I don't like to mix it up too much. And every once in a while I'm cleaning, not really cleaning off the brush, but I'm making sure the paint is on the tip of the brush so it's not globbed on. Okay. So I'm making sure we have different shades of green in here. Is it dark on one side, light on the other? On the underside, I'm not seeing the underside of the leaf, but I'm still going to put a little bit of light yellow to create another shade on the leaf. I add that little bit of purple on here. You know, because I'm always exploring and mixing colors, it doesn't always come out the way I would like to plan, the way I'm planning it to. But sometimes you're surprised on what you come up with. And it's quite all right. I want a difference between these two leaves. A little bit different. Oops, I just ended up putting a little blue here. To show a little contrast between the two. Okay. I need to change my brush because I don't want to make the stem here. Very light. I'm pressing light just to make sure I stay in the lines as best as I can. I don't even know if this is the best brush, but sticking with it. I like the way the purple makes a dark green. So I'm going to add that little purple here for underneath the stem. Make a shadow. I don't like the way I have this short. It doesn't seem complete to me. I think I'm going to make it just go off the paper. See how you make changes as you go. Okay. I think eventually when this dries up a little bit, I'm going to add a little yellow to these leaves. I feel like they're a little too dull. But you know, this greenish, purplish, I think I want to use this as a shadow part of the lemon. See, I kind of put a little water on it, but I saved it for this purpose. As I was painting, I realized I think I like that color. See, sometimes you come up with a color by mistake. It's really all about exploring. You know, I could have all the rules that I want, but sometimes as you go, you're finding new ways to accomplish it. I'd like to get that light green in here. My paint's been sitting around, so it's getting a little dry. Start a little bit of light yellow, a little bit of yellow in this. See, I'm getting lazy. I really could use white. I really should get up and get white. But I like the way the yellow looks with the leaf. I see a little shadow in this indent that I'd like to try to create. And this, look at that, this highlight of white. So I'm just going to get this little bit of green here. I'm sorry you're not seeing this. Or maybe light blue. Carefully I put this light blue in here. I think I need to spread it. Sometimes using a brush that hasn't been used yet, it's dry. I could smooth out the color. I like this brush, but it's too split up. I think I want to add some more yellow here to now brighten it up in some places.